Of cardboard, guys. I was going to break this into two lots. Oh, that's kind of weird. Two videos, but we're going to open all this, guys. This is a solid 1980s candy advertising live stream. These are two items. Both have multiple things in them. We're going to start with this, obviously. Then we'll get inside this really big box. It's very light, though, so that's interesting. That's a clue to what's inside. Let's start here. So if you're kind of new to my stuff, I love old candy items. That's my jam. I'm trying to fix the phone here. All right, let's go down the line. We're going to open this. This should be pretty satisfying. Here we go. Beep. All right, so this, what should be in here, I don't see anything yet. There they are. These are called vending cards. Let me get them out first so you can see them. So these came, once upon a time, these came in bubble gum machines where you put like a dime in, you turn the little knob, and here's the first one. The first one is a Leaf House of Horrors bubble gum. I'm happy to finally have this one. I honestly don't know quite the date on this. Sometimes, or most of the times, they will have how many cents it took to buy the bubble gum. And so that can be a pretty good indicator of what decade it's from. Like, for example, if you see one that's 1 cent, obviously it's going to be 60s or 70s. If it's a nickel, later. If it's a dime, later. And then some have quarters on them. Due to inflation. Here's the next one. Actually, that's the good one. That's the really good one. Let's save that for the end. I can see kind of through the card. All right, here's the next one. Yeah, I wanted this one. Gumball Rally. I've never seen this before. This person posted this. He has a few other ones. He has a few more of these. So if you want to pick one up, go find it on eBay. But this is a Leaf Gumball Rally. Super cool piece. Very, very, very different than what we're used to, right? This I had to have as well. Actually, it comes... Oh. Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't order this. It says bonus right here. Man, he writes like I do. All caps and a little sloppy. Yeah, this is really cool. They're perforated down the middle here. I've noticed these as well, or maybe not this one, but this one has perforations. But anyway, here's a double one. That's really cool because I was actually going to buy this, but I just kind of forgot to. So he sent 2 of them. He must have a pile of these. Isn't that cool? I'm going to leave that just like that. Yeah, where it says 1 cent. Look at that. So obviously, if a kid is paying a penny for a gumball, or whatever this was, maybe chiclets, like a little half of a handful of chiclets, this is probably 60s or early 70s, I would guess. And here's the super good one. You might not agree, but it's very, very rare. Notice it's got tape on it. It's been used before. Here we go. This is the Leaf Jawfuls. And this is going to date somewhere in the super late 70s, super early 80s. I don't know the date on Jawfuls. I guess I could look it up. I remember one of the first things I ever bought as a candy advertising collector was a Jawfuls bubblegum pack. And it's really cool that it's remained one of the rarest things in my collection after all these years, and it's one of the first things I bought, which I have seen several more over about the past 20 years. But that just tells you how rare they are. I'm talking about the actual gumball that comes in a pack. Now, this would be like in a gum machine, and you'd put your nickel or whatever it is, maybe a penny. And now these were gray gumballs. They were this color, this shark color. I want to say they actually had some writing on them as well. I can't remember what it is, but that's really cool. I'm so happy to have this. The pack that I have, I should have it out today, but I don't. There's not that much graphics on it, and so to see this is quite the money shot. I love it. This is a really good buy right there, actually. Super good buy. All right. So let's put those to the side. We're going to get into this really big box. I just noticed it has these handles that were just open the whole time. I'm going to have to set the phone down while I get this. Well, I guess I could turn it. Let's do that. I'm always trying to hide my address. Unless you want to send me some stuff, that'd be nice. Okay, so this is a seller who has posted. I mean, well, I noticed them. I think it was 3 years ago. Actually, it might have been 4. I don't know. After the pandemic-ish, they just started dropping all these empty like display boxes. Let me just pull the first one out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now they're all empty, and this seller, it's always empty boxes. But whoever the hell this is, saved the most incredible display boxes that you'll ever see. And they're always mint. And they disappeared for a few years, but they came back recently on eBay. You know, the candy market, the vintage candy market's on eBay, just like a lot of, most collectibles. But what I'm saying is the vintage candy market is exclusively on eBay. So whenever I'm talking about like picking stuff up, it's always eBay. That's where my store is, by the way. So if you go to Garbage Archive, that's my personal eBay store, longtime store. Guys, but anyway, this is actually one of the. There's more in here. Look at all that. So I hope you are somewhere comfortable. This is actually one of the best ones in the box. Might be the best one actually. It's the one I was certainly after. Take a look. This is a Glen Candies or Glen Confections or WF Confections Slurpees. The obvious reason I wanted it is because of the super rare skateboarding graphic, especially super early graphic of a skateboarder on a candy box. You would think skateboarding would be on a ton of candy items across the decades, but it's not. Now, first of all, skateboarding is kind of a new sport compared to some other sports, but still, you would think they would gear a lot of things, skateboarding towards more children. But the truth is, skateboarding, if you really sit down and think about it, it's more of a teenage thing. And so I think that's the reason we don't get as much skateboarding imagery on candy boxes as we should or maybe want or whatever, like I would want. Looks like a villain out of an anime show. I'm coming for you. But this is absolutely amazing. You might remember this. I personally don't remember Slurpees. Reminds me of that damn 7-Eleven shit. Oh, I'm sorry. So Glen Confections and WF, they're one of the same. Their genre of candy was wax, and you would bite into the wax and slurp out the stuff, the fucking stuff. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's get in here. There's one I'm saving to the end, not because it's the best. You might think it's the best. Better be in here. Hey, I'm off camera looking around. Okay. I'm saving one for the end because it's different than these other three. You might think it's the best thing I showed you today. We'll see. So this is going to be another Glen Confections piece. Glen Confections, Glen Candies, they went through a couple of brand changes. They're responsible for all the wax and wax candies that you might remember back in the day. Let me go ahead and grab this next one. Because it's another one. It's another one of the Glen Candies, and we can just look at it all three and talk about it. So this is the classic one. This is what everyone remembers, and I certainly remember, and that's Nick and Nip. Wow, that's a big box. Look at that. Trying to find my damn ruler over here. Anyway, so that's a big one. Boxes for this candy line are very rare. I've sold one actually from the 1950s last year for a good sum. I didn't keep it because it wasn't from my era, but this is something I would definitely keep for myself and will keep for myself. But anyway, so now we can look at all three together. Now guys, there's one more. So hang out just a minute. So again, these are the candies, if you remember back in the day, that were wax-based. And you would bite into the beeswax and slurp out the candy. These were the bottle forms, and these were the stick or tube forms. Now, they made much cooler ones than these. They've actually made guns. They made wax guns that you would slurp the stuff out of. I reckon it's, corn syrup. But they've made all sort of novelty ones. They've made aliens where you'd bite the head off an alien and suck the alien blood out of it. There's some super fucking cool ones out there. But these are nice too, and these are leaning a little early, which Glen Confections always leans a little early. But I would date these right at the beginning of the 80s. All right, let's get to the last one. Now these are empty, so there's nothing to really, there's no reason to get those out. So this one is also from the same seller, obviously, but it's not candy. But it's still up my alley. Now everyone's going to remember this immediately. God, how many of these did we eat back in the day? God, we had these all the time. I remember getting these from the Ice Cream Man, though. I don't think I remember like a retail offering like this. Oh, it's made by Drumstick, or the makers of Drumstick, and it's dated 1989. Okay, so that would explain why I missed it. Yeah, I don't know if maybe I just am not remembering this correctly, but I remember only getting these from the Ice Cream Man. In other words, I only remember these as being vending ice creams, not retail ice creams, meaning, these you could pick up maybe in a grocery store. And this is certainly a retail one because of the barcode. They don't put barcodes, to my knowledge, especially old vending boxes, excuse me. They only put them like if they're, straight to a consumer, not straight to a wholesaler or whatever. These have some inside, some examples. I'll do a little recap here. That was it. We're going to look at this. Let me get this damn box out of the way. But these are the singles. Definitely been enjoyed. This is what I remember them looking like. The top edge of these would get pretty gnarly from all the licking. But it's very nostalgic to see that orange, push pop, push device in there. Yeah, I love that these are super used like this. Now, a few of these, like this one's in really good shape. I mean, there's creasing and whatnot, but there's some good sides to it. With any sort of advertising, you're just looking for a good side, for like a display, and that certainly would fit the bill. Very cool. Yeah, I'll definitely list a few of these on eBay, the singles. Let's look at this box one more time. God, I remember Flintstones just being on constant rerun back in the day. It made me actually start to not like Flintstones after a while. Wow. This says they had different flavors. I do not remember any of these other flavors. Why did they have this as a flavor? That's really cool. So apparently in the very late 80s and probably 1990, 1991, they had some other flavors and characters. But yeah, super happy to have that. That's what the orange goop looks like. It's amazing. It kept some of its color. Yeah, let's do a little wrap up. All right, guys, opened a pretty epic lot. Definitely is very candy advertising heavy. First, we started with these gumball headers. These go by different names: vending cards, bubblegum headers. It's not always bubblegum, by the way. Sometimes jawbreakers is a key word to put in there. But anyway, and Leaf was one of the most prolific of the gumball vending machine categories. The best piece, in my opinion, was the Jawfuls. I've never seen this one before now. He sent this as a freebie, this monster, maybe Nosferatu-looking character. Super cool. I guess he's the guy that provides sour grapes. Not good sweet grapes, but sour grapes. Also got the Leaf House of Horrors card. These remind me of those little rubber monsters, freaks that you would put on your pencil back in grade school. They look just like them. This character, by the way, kind of Edgar Allan Poe type of character. In his smoking jacket, night robe, with his little guys there. Also, this really cool Leaf Gumball Rally. It's just cool to see these old cars. It just reminds me of that time period, man. So that was cool. We got these 3 Glen Candies empty boxes, display boxes, advertising boxes from the early, I'm thinking these even could be late 70s. I'm not really sure. But certainly early 80s wax candy boxes. And then this really cool, it's dated 1989, Flintstones push-up novelty ice creams with the original carton tubes, which looks almost identical to a toilet paper roll, by the way. All right. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Man, this is very nostalgic, man. Very nostalgic, I will say. And these were so good back in the day. My God. They should probably bring these back. They really should. When I see this graphic, I tell you the first thing I think of, by the way, it's not this, it's actually those damn vitamins. Remember fucking Flintstone vitamins? How many of those did we eat? That's probably one reason a lot of the Gen Xers survived fucking childhood, was the vitamins. Flintstone vitamins. Alright, guys, well, yeah, I was going to break this into a couple of different videos, but I'm a little ADHD, and hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you around. Russ Van, out.